Should continue before I tell you who my guest is here in studio. The nation continues to battle. I know I threw it up on my Facebook page today, and the battle went on forever. Of course, that is the Native American activist Nathan Phillips, and the video that America has seen and has been debating with Covington Catholic High School junior Nick Sandman. Now, Nick was on the Today Show yesterday, and the Today Show was getting all kinds of grief from the left because why would you give this kid airtime? Well, why not? And they were also getting grief from the right as well because of the questions that were being asked. Nathan Phillips, he was on the NBC Today Show again today. Well, he was on, not again, but he was on today, and this thing has just gotten so. I mean, it's just gotten so much coverage. And you got to question, what the hell's going on here? It was a protest. Why is this getting covered so much by the media? Well, as there's more coverage on it, more information is coming out, specifically on Nathan Phillips. Coached and written up for him, insincerely, lack of responsibility. Those are the words I came up with, but then I went to go pray about it, Phillips said today on the Today Show, and then I woke up with this forgiving heart, so I forgive him. And he's referring to the teenager, Nick Sandman. This account, of course, went viral. In a Today interview that aired Wednesday, Sandman defended his actions, said he had nothing to apologize for when he and his classmates surrounded Phillips. As far as standing there, I had every right to do so, said Sandman, who was visiting Washington with his classmates to participate in a anti-abortion march. My position is that I was not disrespectful of Mr. Phillips. I respect him. I'd like to talk to him, he added. I mean, in hindsight, I wish we could have walked away and avoided the whole thing, but I can't say that I'm sorry for listening to him and standing there. Phillips said on Today's Show today that while he did watch Sandman's interview, he didn't find it convincing, okay? What it says is he has a PR firm. So those aren't even his words if he has a PR firm, he said, adding that he'd like Sandman to demonstrate some sincerity, some sense of responsibility for his actions. Phillips said he felt compelled to walk by the teenagers after tension had escalated between them and a handful of members of the Hebrew Israelites, which, by the way, the Southern Poverty Law Center describes as a radical movement that has become more militant. B as in B, S as in S. This Nathan Phillips is nothing more than an actor. That's all he is. He doesn't give a damn. And this, of course, in my opinion, he doesn't give a damn about Native Americans. He is out to make a buck for himself. And joining me in studio, I said it yesterday, I'll say it again, I about fell off my chair when my guest and I actually agreed on something. Anytime I've had this person in here in the past, it has just been all out battle, man. And the guest I have is Cindy Gomez-Schempp. How you doing, Cindy?
I've been doing pretty
My God, like I said, I about fell out of my chair. I got a voice message from her yesterday. I'm like, oh, here we go. All right, I'll call her back. And I was like, hold on, I got to pick myself up. Wait a minute, what? What? Cindy, you've got some insight on this, huh?
Oh, yeah, I've been investigating this for 2 years now.
Now, when we say investigating this, what do we mean?
These actors.
These actors.
Yeah, I don't know what else to call them.
That's what they are. They're actors. Nathan Phillips, you've been investigating him?
Him and all of the people surrounding him, a lot of the people in the leadership of organizing Standing Rock and many of the pipeline camps afterwards.
Now, you and I went we went rounds on Standing Rock. I remember having you in here. I mean, you and I we tore it up. We were not even close to being on the anywhere agreeing on Standing Rock, but you've been investigating since Standing Rock.
These people are experts.
You got a little different change of heart now, don't you, after investigating?
These people are experts at marketing and PR. They have Hollywood actors and PR people. These kids have nothing on what these networks can do.
Okay, so you've seen all 19 minutes of the video. Well, there's more than that. Plus, you sent me a video. The video that you sent me. Has the media got their hands on that video?
No.
So you and I basically are whoever shot it, because this thing got yanked.
It's on the internet. It's on the internet. It's available on YouTube.
It is okay. It is available. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that video is actually from the Daily Caller, which is a Tucker Carlson website.
Yep, correct.
But it's a piece of the video that was taken out of the rest of the media reports.
Yeah, the media didn't use that section.
That's where you can find it, though.
Yeah, that's where you find it on Daily
Caller.
Okay. Because I know that when I looked at it, it said the video had been removed. Mm-hmm. So, but you're saying it's still up there, Kyle, on Daily Caller.
I could pull it up with what you sent me, that link.
If you listen at length to any of the things that the Black Israelites said, there is no way that any sane person could defend it. And Nathan defends it. He says that these teachings in his interviews,
I cannot believe this is coming out of Cindy Gomez-Schempp's mouth.
He says that
I'm shocked.
How can you listen to anything the Black Israelites said and defend it?
No, you can't. You can't
even repeat it.
You can't at all.
And yet he did. He said that these kids didn't like the teachings of the Black Israelites, but that some of them are true. Which ones? I'd like to know. Marcus Frejo, the Keezy MC, the other entertainer that was drumming next to him with the handlebar mustache.
And what was the Native American group that was out there?
It was the Indigenous Peoples March.
Okay, Indigenous Peoples March. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the other person with Nathan.
One of the other people with Nathan, who's also an entertainer. He's a rapper named Keezy MC.
Really?
Yes. He was also arrested at Standing Rock, one of the first ones to get arrested at Standing Rock. He also defended the Black Israelites in a now deleted post, which I had on my show, Mexican Crossing Lines. Mm-hmm. I showed the whole thing, but he deleted it afterwards because he was also defending the Black Israelites and saying that their teachings were just, they have different teachings. They didn't speak about the Black Israelites the way that they talked about these kids. They said that they were like beasts. They said that they compared them to animals, basically, and said that what they said was hateful and racist. And they didn't really say anything.
The kids
never said to build the wall. They never said anything in response to the horrible things that were being hurled at them. The only thing that they did was to try to drown out the sound. And what Nathan and his friends did was to come and shut those kids up. Stop them from comforting themselves and shutting out the hatred.
They were waiting for a bus.
Yeah, they were waiting for
their bus because they were there for the anti-abortion march, the March of Life, I believe is what it was. Mm-hmm. And they were waiting for a bus, and then I believe it was the Black Israelites came up to these kids and started harassing them, basically hollering at them. Mm-hmm. And then how did Nathan Phillips get involved? Because he claims that he was just trying to walk through, that he wasn't coming up there doing anything. Well, you watch that video, and the video that you sent me, the other one, you look at it and go, that's a bunch of crap. You weren't trying to walk through. You were going up there to stir the pot.
No, this was going on for a long time. There weren't that many people left. If you listen to Chase Iron Eyes, who is now speaking on behalf of Nathan about this issue, he's one of the organizers of the Indigenous Peoples March. And he says that there wasn't hardly anybody left. There was only a handful of people, and all of their stories are the same. And they're all of the same people in the leadership at Standing Rock. It doesn't seem like a coincidence to me to see that a week or two ago, Nathan was doing videos on his Youth Alliance page talking about the wall and talking about the caravan that's coming because all of these...
Why is he getting involved in that?
Because all of these Standing Rock phonies... That's the name I've given them. They have decided they're going to inject themselves and AstroTurf issues, whatever it is. If it's a hurricane in Houston, they're there to make money off of the suffering of those people. How about the one in Puerto Rico? Yep, they went there too. And they made money off of people. They defrauded people online. Did they help people? Who knows? They're not accountable to anybody. And then they began talking about the caravan, and I thought, if you go and mess with Mexico, it's going to be on like Donkey Kong. And they did.
So what are they? What is Nathan and these other people doing when they're messing with Mexico? What are they doing?
They're getting involved in exploiting the caravan. They're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, hand over fist.
How are they doing that? Just explain how they're doing that.
GoFundMe's, and now they're using celebrities because the Hollywood have come in. Mm-hmm. So they had this woman. I can't even remember her name. She's that far down on the actors list. I've never heard of her before.
Melissa Milano?
She's bilingual. She is bilingual. She did some video game thing. I don't know. Anyway, she's connected to Frances Fisher. And of course...
Who's Frances Fisher?
She's the baby mama of Clint Eastwood.
Okay. All right.
And so Frances Fisher, if you don't remember her, it's because she hasn't been in the limelight for very long. And a lot of these older actors are trying to push their careers. So they're getting involved in all of this activism stuff. They were involved at Standing Rock.
So now I got to take a break. We'll come back. I want to come back to Nathan Phillips because he's the one that's getting all the attention. And I'm with you. This guy's nothing but an actor. He is not helping the Native American people at all. He's in it for $1 for himself and and his group of phonies that he hangs around with.
If these people cared about Native Americans, they wouldn't have put an innocent woman in jail and left her mother in a hospital to die after Standing Rock. And they were the ones that framed her.
And again, I want to come back because you and I have gone rounds big time on this program in the past especially when it came to Standing Rock. And I said, this is a bunch of garbage. These people that are showing up here are nothing but activists. They're not in it for the people. They're in it for themselves. And now after you've been investigating, you're going, Jay, you're right.
You're right.
You're right.
You're
All
right.
right. If you have any questions, 293-9000, toll free 1-888-970-9329 is the phone number. Cindy Gomez-Schempp is my guest. We're actually getting along today. Another question I have for you: do you think that the folks at the march? There's so many different things. Indigenous Peoples March and the Black Israel. Do you think they were working together to set these kids up?
Yeah, there is definitely.
You're saying these two were working together to set these kids up.
If it wasn't that case, why would Marcus Frejo, the KZMC guy that was drumming with Nathan,
the second guy
go up and talk to them? Why would he smile at them? Why would he stand next to them in his video?
The Black Israelites.
Yeah. Why would he stand next to the hate group?
Well,
why would you talk to them? Why would you smile in their video?
That was the one thing that kept coming up: is why were all these protests happening in the same spot on the same day? Why would anybody do that?
Well, here's something that nobody knows
Stop
about.
right there. Don't say it. Say it when we come back. So I got a break here. So I got to take a break. 3-7 with me. It's been a long time since I've had on the program. You just ended up turning into a 1 hour screaming match, screaming at each other. Cindy Gomez-Schempp, activists. You for quite a long time. You and I battled back and forth over the DAPL protests, and I sat here and how can you be this blind and not see what the hell's going on? This is nothing but a scam. And now you know some more information about the protests that went on last weekend with Nathan Phillips, who's all over, and all these people, not everybody, but a lot in the media are jumping on this guy, just how great he is, and look what he did. And the guy is nothing but an actor. He's a scam artist.
A lot of the people that were at Standing Rock have this ability, uncanny ability. And when you see certain people, certain photographers, documentary filmmakers, so-called media people, and I say so-called because they just started live streaming it, and that's their platform. They're live streamers. When you see those people show up, or if they're going to be somewhere, something's going to happen. It's going to be captured on film, and it's going to become a media sensation. And I knew that the Indigenous Peoples March, I was, kind of looking at the side of my eye going, and wait for it. I had already been talking about Nathan Phillips in the week before they went to this Indigenous Peoples March.
What were you discussing about Nathan a week
I was
before?
talking about the fact that the caravan in Mexico on the border is being exploited by these same people, and that certain figures had shown up. I said, this person was at Standing Rock, and when she showed up, that's when the bullets started to fly. That's when there was pepper spray. So they're gonna create a violent clash with the police. So what
you're saying is these folks now you're saying because you've investigated it, your eyes open. When you see certain people showing up, whether it's Washington, Standing Rock, the border, if you see these people, you Cindy know from your investigating from years of doing this,
there's going to be
you
blood.
Look at it and go, there's going to be problems.
There's going to be problems
because these people are here for one reason, one reason only: to cause problems, to get attention, to get money.
I called it a week ago. And there he was again talking about.
Now, were you calling it on your show
on my show
on the People's
a week
Project?
Prior to this happening?
So
on
you're on your show.
KPPLP.
You're on your show saying, "Hey, look, Nathan Phillips is going to be."
I showed his picture. I didn't say his name. I just showed the pictures.
This guy is going to be at this march. There's going to be problems.
I didn't say he's going to be specifically at the march. I just said wherever they go, whatever they're doing, when these photographers show up, this is what's going to go down.
You've got to let me know. And you see something, you got to message me or call me and say, "Hey, Jay, I saw this person. Watch. Here's what's going to happen."
I promise you I will.
Because people need to know this. And here's the problem with people like the Nathans of the world and others. What they do, and I'm all for a good protest. Don't get me wrong, okay? But they make everybody look bad. They really do. They're just. It's just. I just watching the media just love this guy, and you listen, he's contradicting himself constantly. When he was on the Today Show today, I was just trying to walk through. I just was trying to walk through, and these kids surrounded me. No, because you showed me the video, man. You showed me the video, Cindy, the one that I don't think many people have seen there, and the black Israelites are going, here he comes. Yeah, they're cheering.
They call him his elder. They said, here comes our elder, our Gant.
Our Gant, that's the name.
Gant.
In this
Gant.
video,
here
it's
come
crystal
Gant.
clear. Here come Gant. Here come Gant. They're cheering on Nathan as he's walking up to these kids. Now,
our elder. And then they defend him. You better not touch him.
Yeah, you better
not touch
yeah.
him.
So now, so do you think what these kids did these kids do anything wrong?
No, I think that they were ambushed. And in fact, I got a call the day after I did my first show, Questions on Nathan on KPPPLP.
Okay.
I got a call
when did you
from
do that? A week ago?
No, 2 days ago.
2 days ago, okay.
Right after this news story came.
All right.
I did a show called Questions on Nathan, and I put forth all of the questions that I had and all of the material. And right afterwards, I got a call from someone who is an advisor, I'll say, to people that are in the leadership of the AIM movement.
What's the AIM movement?
The, what is it called? American Indian Movement. Sorry.
Okay, American
Indian Movement, which are considered to have done radical things, right? Okay. But they're in the leadership of the Standing Rock people that put on that protest. They're in the Indigenous Peoples March leadership. And she was with these folks.
This lady that contacted you.
That contacted me.
She was with folks who were down for the Indigenous Peoples March.
Yes, like Phyllis Young specifically, she named. And one of the Dennis Banks family members, or assistants. And so she said, we were at the hotel with these kids. And then I was
this lady called you and told you this.
Yes, and I have it recorded too. So I have to prove it to you.
This lady that called you and said, we were at the hotel with these high school kids. This is the lady this is the lady that was with the folks who were down there to march for the Indigenous Peoples March.
So they knew the hotel that these kids were staying at ahead of time.
They knew it.
And they called.
And you have this on tape.
I have it recorded. They called me to tell me this, not because they were going to tell me something good. They wanted to let me know that they were observing these kids beforehand, and they are not nice kids. But then I started thinking, so you knew what hotel they were staying at? You also probably heard where they were going to catch their bus afterwards? You probably also knew that they were wearing MAGA hats and what school they went to. You were listening to them, just like you were listening to people at the hotel that you stayed at with those protesters.
When we went down for the DAPL protest, Jim in West Fargo, hold on, buddy. We're going to have to grab you after news and weather here at the bottom of the hour, but hang on, don't lose your spot. When we went down to DAPL protest, because I went down there for law enforcement just to see for myself, and we sent all the items down there to help law enforcement, food and everything. And I know you and I went rounds of that. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, we sat in the hotel bar, and we're sitting in the bar, and it's just me and Ray and Brendan and a couple other folks. And all of a sudden, the bar fills up. Well, we got stuck in a hotel with all the protesters, and all of a sudden, the bar starts filling up, and we're listening. We can hear these and it's like
a lot of them are extras.
We can't believe what they're saying. We're all sitting there going, "My God, you got to be kidding me!" The whole thing, it's a joke. This has nothing to do with oil. They're here to make a buck. And they are sitting there talking about how they're going to want to do this, they're going to do this, how they're going to get on national. We're going like, you got to be kidding me. It's crazy. All right, City, hold on. Jim, you're going to be first on the phones when we come back. Like people would say, I'll believe in Bigfoot when hell freezes over. Now, so I'll believe in Bigfoot when Jay and Cindy get along. Well, I guess Bigfoot is a real thing, man. All right, Jim, we'll get you in a second. City Gomez-Schempp on my program. First time ever we actually are not screaming at each other. The reason I brought City on is because she has a lot of insight into what happened in that march last weekend when the Black Israelites and also the
Indigenous Peoples March.
Indigenous Peoples March, but then the Covington kids from the high school. You're saying, hey, look, you know what? I've dealt with these people. I've talked to people that were there were. They've got the insight on this. You've got tape recordings of the conversations. This whole thing is nothing but an act. It was a scam put on, and you say
that's my belief. Yes, I think they do it very well.
Okay,
and they've done it before, and this is their MO.
Let's go. Okay, let me grab Jim first. I want to go back to the hotel. The conversation you had with the gal from the hotel down there. Hey, Jim, thanks for hanging on. You're up on a Jay Thomas show.
Hey, Jay. I just wanted to throw in a little information that I got today on this Nathan Phillips.
Yeah.
I guess his name is, he's also known as Nathan Stannard.
Yep.
Changed his name after he received a bad conduct discharge from the Marines. He was in the Marine Reserve. He was a refrigeration specialist. Yep. He was not a recon or he was not a ranger.
No, he was
not.
And
he never stepped one foot in Vietnam.
Nope.
Went AWOL twice, and then he was kicked out of the United States Marine Corps as an E1.
He was listed AWOL, by the way, 3 times. Three
times.
times. You know,
he's already been caught. He's already been caught in lies. I mean, I'm a Vietnam veteran. Well, that's like stolen valor, man. That guy should have his butt kicked.
Well, he's been clever about that in the way in most of the times when he says it, he'll say, "I'm a veteran. I'm a Vietnam times veteran." He's real clever.
What you guys have to watch for is what they do, because they work with media people. These actors, they work with media people, so they have the media people who don't do their jobs all the time.
No, they don't.
And they let them assume things, they let them misprint it, and then they embellish on that lie. Like he has said that when he came back to the U.S., people spit on him.
Well, I got it right here. I claimed in 2008 that when he came back to the U.S., people called him a baby killer and that a hippie girl spit on him.
Right.
Well, came back from where? But see, he never says where he came. He
came back to the U.S.
He knows how to play the game, though.
Well, maybe he thinks California isn't part of the U.S. Who knows?
Well, it shouldn't be. In my eyes, Jim and listeners, without doubt, this guy is doing stolen valor. He's being very clever on his wording to cover his arse is what he's doing.
And now looking at this thing now, knowing all this, even with all this media stuff about how, there's all the kinds of people still out there saying it was this kid's fault.
Yeah.
The kid's a racist. He's smirking, trying to besmirch him. Now just hearing all this and seeing that video, do you really think that this kid did anything other than just stand his ground and was just a nervous 16-year-old with some guy who decided to come up in his face with a drum and start beating it?
This kid was a nervous 15, 16-year-old. His age changes with every article, too. But, yeah, you're right. He was a nervous kid that had a bunch of the Black Israelite group hollering nasty stuff at him. And all of a sudden, this guy who claims he was just trying to get through, which, no, I'm not buying that. He comes up into this kid's face, starts beating his drum. Then you have the Black Israelites, because I have it on video, City. You sent me the video. I got it. Threatening this kid, basically, don't touch him. Don't touch Nathan. This kid he's nervous. He's a scared kid.
I went to a private Catholic school, and I went to a public high school. I don't think that any of the kids that I went to school with would have had the wherewithal to keep their feelings to themselves. They went and asked their chaperone if they could do something to counteract this hate, and the teacher said, go ahead and do the school chants. And that was all they did to try to defend the other kids from having to hear these hateful things.
Yeah, so the kids are doing their school chants to drown out the other protesters.
And Nathan and his friends went to shut them up.
Yep.
Nathan and his friends went to confront them. When do you hear any Native Americans, because you've heard them drumming here before, when have they come up to you to offer a prayer without telling you what the name of the song was, what the prayer was for?
Never. They don't. It doesn't.
They don't do
way.
that.
It doesn't. Yeah.
If somebody's offering a prayer for you, they don't just come up and start drumming 2 inches from your face.
They're going to tell you what they're doing.
Right. They're going to say,
and what we're offering.
Here's what I'm doing for you. I'm going to pray for you right now. Is that okay? Also, how about consent? You're just going to go and pray in someone's face?
Yep. No,
How is that different from what the Black Israelites were doing?
I'm with you, Jim.
Hey, one more thing.
Yeah.
I like this version of Cindy. Keep it, Cindy. Okay.
I think Cindy's eyes have finally opened up. We were talking during the break.
Hey, these people did a number on me. They did a number on all of us.
There's no reason. I mean, left, right, whatever you want to believe. Objectivity can be used by all. Okay.
I know, but the thing is that they're so good at it. It's hard for someone. I can understand how I was duped, and I can understand how Americans are duped and the media is duped, because they have a huge network. Mm-hmm. And that's what's hard to believe. When you see all of the people that are in the media from the Indigenous People March saying the same thing, it makes it hard for you to believe that they would all lie in a coordinated fashion. But they do.
Well, that's what you and I were talking about.
Then too, that human beings, when you look at it, we're just so reactionary to stuff. And I think that stuff plays into our reactions, and it's just, we don't even bother to look into it. We just let our emotions take play and just go with it, Yeah,
and that's what happened. That's what happened here. And now even the media they're trying to backpedal on what they were reporting, what they were saying. And thanks, Jimbo. Appreciate it, brother.
What really bothers me is this: what they're doing in Mexico is the same. There has to be someone to crucify. In the case of what they're doing in Mexico, they're saying that the Mexican authorities, the Mexican police, and the Mexican people are all hurting the caravan. They don't care about them. They're oppressing them, when the opposite is true. And that the only people that are there to save them and speak on their behalf is these American activists connected to Chase Iron Eyes and the Standing Rock people. And that is absolutely false. And it's the same thing here. In order for you to think that this Native American Vietnam times era, whatever the hell,
he's calling
person
himself,
is a good guy, even just a good guy, not a hero. Mm-hmm. You have to hate these kids.
Otherwise, yeah, if you don't
have
hate,
to.
You better hate the people that they're hating.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're a terrible person.
Because there's no way to justify what Nathan did. There's no way to justify that a grown man who claims to work with youth, by the way, I can't find any pictures of that, any evidence of that, but that a grown man that works with youth went up there to drown out these kids comforting themselves, to confront them instead of confronting the Israelites. Why didn't he go and drum in front of them?
Because they were the ones that were harassing these kids who were waiting for a bus.
And Native Americans too.
Yeah.
They were harassing Native Americans in the posts that Keezy MC makes. Even in the ones that he just put up to correct his previous statement that he took down. He says, yes, they were saying hateful things. But you know what? That's what white people, I'm used to experiencing white people saying all sorts of hateful things to me all the time. So I'm used to it. And I'm like, what kind of mental gymnastics do you have to do to say that because you've heard hateful things said by MAGA wearing hat people in the past, that means that these kids did something wrong?
Some emails here. We're listening to the show right now and loving it. Another email. Nathan Phillips is an actor with an agent. He goes wherever there's trouble. No Dapple, Houston Hurricane, Puerto Rico Hurricane. And you said all that, Cindy. And the U.S.-Mexican border. He works with the Black Hebrew Israelites, and different GoFundMe accounts keeps them with tons of money.
I have seen the Black Hebrew Israelites at other things where these people are. I recently saw them in California. I'm like, what are those black people doing at this run for Native Americans? And then found out they were a hate group. And I'm like, they're here at the thing again? What are the odds that they show up in California with the Native Americans for a run? And then they're in Washington, D.C.
spirits of the Westboro Baptist Church group.
Oh, good call.
They're just like totally one and the same.
And recently, with regard to the caravan, one of the leaders of these people, the Myron Dewey of Digital Smoke Signals, who was out at Standing Rock, you may recall.
I remember that name.
He referred to the people of the caravan as one of the lost tribes of Israel. That's the same kind of wacko stuff that these black Israelites spew. I am telling you, they believe in the doctrines of these black Israelites, Cindy, and they support them.
From what you've been told, let's go back to the hotel. You were talking to a gal that was at the hotel.
Yeah.
Okay.
With these kids.
She wasn't with the kids. She was there with which group was she with?
She was there with people in the leadership of this march.
Of the march, yeah. Okay.
Of the march, yeah.
But not the march the kids were at, the Indigenous Peoples March.
The Indigenous Peoples
March.
So
they knew these kids were in the hotel.
They knew these kids were in the hotel. They were observing them prior to them going.
And you have this on tape?
Yep, I do.
Of her telling you this. Okay.
Yep. I can share it with you. I told you I would.
Okay.
But the thing of it is that, it's to me, it feels like they were casing them, like watching them. They knew where they were going to be meeting up at.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a coincidence that the black Israelites set up there. And I don't think it's a coincidence that this handful of people that were left behind when everyone else was gone were in the leadership and connected to the AIM leadership, that radical element of the Native American movement.
And the AIM is what? It's American
Indian movement.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That radical element that is involved in doing all of these crazy events,
Another email. Wow, the information today, Jan, your show provides a totally different picture. Is the show podcast? Yeah, Kyle, we podcast these, don't we? Is it available? We're still working on that. Where do people get the podcast at? I know it changes, I think. Doesn't it change? Or?
My shows are 3 hours long, and I give details, and I have receipts. I show everything on my shows.
On video as well.
Yeah, so you can go to kpppfm.com and check out my past shows on Nathan. It was questions on Nathan. And then this last one, I talked about how it's damage control for Nathan, because all of these phonies have to do damage control because people are finding out he's stolen valor. People are finding out he doubled down on his lies about Vietnam. People are finding out he's connected to all of these people. Like, he's an actor. He's been in videos. All of the people around him also are entertainers. And
you're saying these folks are being backed by Hollywood, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, but you're saying a lot
they're funded by Hollywood. They're organized by Hollywood. And ultimately, they're working with political campaigns. These are the same people that were working to get Ilhan Omar into office and Ocasio-Cortez. Because Ocasio-Cortez, her origin story? It was Standing Rock. She was in a wigwam. And then she came out, and then after that, she came out, and somebody asked her about, what she was going to do with her life, and that's when she decided to run for office.
And this was done at Standing Rock.
At Standing Rock.
I did not know that.
Linda Sarsour went to Standing Rock. And then after that, they Chase Ironeyes and Tara Houska, both of whom are lawyers, one with the Lakota Law Project, the other with the WPLC, they went to Israel with a group of people from a terrorist organization considered a terrorist by the Israel government.
Well, that's
Israeli
some
government.
big accusation, Cindy.
It's not an accusation. It was in the news.
Okay.
Go look in Democracy Now! Because two of them got arrested and deported, and they are banned from returning to Israel forever.
Wow. Another email, Jay. It makes me sick to think there are people like that are just there to cause trouble, and shows like the Today Show and Savannah Guthrie knew all about this man and what he does, but yet played it up against a bunch of kids to make them look bad because they had a Trump hat on. These people got to go home feeling guilty at night. Am I going to get you in a Trump hat now, Cindy?
No.
I didn't think so.
Never.
Right, let me take a break here. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up. You're doing a book.
I'm going to
and that's not why I got Cindy on here, but we'll let her pimp the book, of course. But
I haven't even written it, but I have to because I think it's too hard to understand.
It just amazes me how your eyes have opened up to this. Because you and I were talking earlier, and you said, Jay, when I was at Standing Rock, you always thought it's like, how can all these people be lying? It's just not true. Everybody's on the same page. But as you started digging into it, investigating and learning more, that's when you said, I can't believe how we all got duped.
Yeah, it was the nexus of one case, the Kathleen Bennett case. I started investigating.
What's the Kathleen Bennett case?
Kathleen Bennett case was all over the national media, and it was pressed by these very people.
When was this?
During Standing Rock, there was an elderly woman that was supposedly left in her tent, caked in excrement.
Yeah, covered in human feces. And
none of that happened.
None of that happened.
None of it happened.
Yeah,
it was
it was all
fabricated.
over the news that, she was left in there, and they try to blame, this is because of...
I found proof positive. I found video that showed this woman and her mother at the casino, safe and sound, on the day at the time that they said.
I remember that.
So I completely disproved that she was, abusing her mother. But these people wanted to keep making themselves famous off of the story because they were the ones that saved her and they were the ones that protected her. They were the heroes of the story. But they vilified two Native American women, one of them an elder with dementia, to do it. They put that woman in an early grave and they did not look back. And they had people in the media working with them, at The Guardian, at The Intercept, at Yes Magazine, at Teen Vogue, like everywhere. I went to every contact that I had, every media contact that I had. I turned to the vast network of organizers. They were working with them too. Like everyone turned their back on me, and I was trying to get this woman out of jail.
And that's why they turned their back, because you were gonna break their story that they were making money off of that wasn't true.
They were exploiting
so they all turned
the whole
on
thing.
you.
They all turned on me, and that's how I started to learn what they were doing. Then I just kept following them at first with disgust and anguish because I didn't want to cover the story anymore. I really just wanted to back away from the whole thing.
Yeah,
but they were going to other towns like Flint, Michigan, and setting up camps there, and then they were doing these other pipeline protests, exploiting people along the way. And then they started getting into hurricane and disaster relief, exploiting people along the way. I was getting messages from people that got sexually harassed by these people, that got defrauded by them, that got robbed by them. And this is one tens of thousands.
And you're saying this is one big, vast network out there.
But a lot of them were at Standing Rock. I mean, I don't know how many organically produced people really showed up at Standing Rock. The majority of them were movie extras. I mean, almost all of them. It's crazy.
You were talking off the air about and this all ties back to Nathan's part of this group.
Oh yeah,
Phelps,
definitely.
The guy that's behind all this this whole thing with the Covington kids and the Indigenous Peoples March, and it's just one big scam, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you've got video proof of it. You've got audio proof of it. Talking to people calling you.
I've documented every piece of it along the way for the last 2 years. I'm telling you, I'm writing a book.
You're going to do a book.
I'm going to write a book.
Now, can I say what you told me off the air regarding law enforcement in your book?
Yes, of course you can.
All right,
it's true. That part's already written.
I'm still on the floor after Cindy said this because Cindy, let's be honest, you were not a fan of law enforcement. You thought what law enforcement was doing at DAPA was terrible. That they were that was wrong.
I was leaning on my own bias and my own experience, and not allowing myself to believe that there could be a media campaign to smear the police.
You just didn't think that was possible.
I didn't think it was possible because
that's why I went down to my show to go down there and say, look, the police are not lying.
And they weren't lying.
Hold on.
Everything was orchestrated against them.
Hold on. All right. You know what? I don't have a la-di-da today. I'm having fun doing this. Let's talk a little bit more.
Okay.
All right. Emails keep rolling. And if you got a phone call, question, comment, you're more than welcome to jump in on that too. 293-9000 is the phone number. Toll free. It's 1-888-970-9329. More with I can't even call you an activist anymore. I can call you the uncoverer of truth.
Yeah, I'm a journalist. Well, I mean, I've been doing journalism for a long time, and even though I'm a progressive with these left-leaning ideas, I can still do research.
Hold on. More Cindy, we come back. Jay Thomas Show. I figured I'd have Cindy in here for about 20 minutes, and after that, it'd just all fall apart. But no, it's been a good conversation this afternoon,
Thanks,
and
it's good catching up.
It is. We haven't talked in a lot. I think the last time you and I got together, I think it was Dapple, and we ended up just screaming at each other for like an hour on the air. And I got to give kudos to you because I know that you're a woman. You are set in your ways. And you are, you believe what you believe, and you are, adult enough to say, look, after investigating for 2 years and really digging into stuff, I was wrong. My eyes are open.
Right. I mean, if you make a mistake, especially if you do journalism, you have to say, correction, this is what, and
because this is all stuff that you stood up for until now you realize, wait a minute, you still stand up for it. But you're going, not what these people are doing.
No, not what these people are doing. They don't care about Indigenous people's rights. They say the right things, but they don't do the right things.
If you're just tuning into the program on your drive home, Cindy Gomez-Schempp in studio. I haven't had her for a long time, and I had her on because she got a hold of me a couple days ago. Said, "Look, Jay, I have a lot more information on Nathan Phillips and the people that he works with and the people around these protests." And I'm like, okay, and. Yeah, she started telling me some stuff, and I'm like, okay, we got to get you on the show. And you're saying, look, these, and I thought all along, even the protests on Standing Rock, I'm like, these are actors. These people are in it for money. They're not in it to protect Native Americans. They're not in it to protect the land. They are in it to make a dollar.
One of the main reasons I wanted to get involved, as you know, I'm the Mexican Crossing Lines. That's my show.
Yep.
So I care about Mexican issues because I am a Mexican, and things that happen in my parents' country of origin matters to me, and I have family there. And I started noticing that these Standing Rock phonies were talking about positioning themselves about the caravan. Nathan Phillips was doing videos talking about the caravan. Nathan Phillips can barely string a sentence together. He doesn't know immigration from a hole in the ground, much less the law behind it. But he's sitting there talking about some made-up treaty between the Mayans and the Omaha tribe, and he's going to speak for the caravan. And I'm like, don't you dare come for the Mexicans. Don't you dare. And then he goes to D.C., and he starts saying, they were chanting, the border wall, the border wall. And then he's crying, saying, we didn't have walls. We never did. And I'm like, why are you talking about this? You don't have a right to talk about this. You're not the most affected. The most affected people in this conversation are the people that live in Tijuana.
Yeah.
The people that are being bombarded by tens of thousands of caravans that are not organic. They are organized by these same people. They create the chaos, and they come and clean it up. They're the saviors
so they look
of
like
the chaos
saviors
they created.
Which gets them all the press time, gets them more money in their accounts, their GoFundMes, whatever it is they're setting up.
But they don't care about what happens to the caravan goers. One of the people that was organizing these caravans.
Look what they did to a bunch of high school kids. They completely tossed them under the bus, trying to make them look bad. Imagine what they're going to do with these people in the caravan.
They're just collateral damage to them.
That's all it is.
But it's also a money-making opportunity. And many of them are selling books, making documentary films, speaking at colleges. They're using college students in their campaigns to go to these protests.
And these college kids have no clue what the hell they're getting themselves involved in.
No. And they're using it to bump up the careers of old actors and, D-list, B-list actors, stunt people. Do you remember the video I sent you of one of those stunt guys that did the machete?
Machete, yeah.
Yeah, he does Danny Trujillo, stunts. And he knows Danny Trujillo.
He does Danny stunts.
He knows Danny because I've showed him on my show. He's talking about doing the work of a coyote in the video I sent you. He's talking about telling people where to cross safely. He's giving advice to the caravan. That's what the folks in these groups are doing. And right now, they are down in Texas, in Mission, Texas. They're going to set up camps.
Okay, let me stop you right there. Because you said, look, you said you can see a video online or see a clip of something that's going on, and you said, Cindy, you go, I see that person. I know there's going to be problems. It's going to be on the national news, and it's a bunch of BS. Are you seeing stuff right now that people should be keeping an eye on?
Oh, yeah. You know, what he's dog whistling, what Nathan Phillips is dog whistling about when he's talking about this chant that never happened about building the wall.
Yeah, those kids never chanted that.
He's doing that because he's going to insert himself as a veteran with the groups at the wall, with the groups that are already down there.
So we
building activist camps.
We, the public, should be keeping an eye on what's going on the border, because you're going to you think we're going to see Nathan down there. If we see Nathan,
you're
going to
see
chaos.
Nathan. You're going to see Chase. You're going if they're
Chase
not.
Iron Eyes?
You're going to see all of these people. They're going to be weighing in on and going down to. There's a whole bunch of people from the Indigenous Environmental Network and from Standing Rock, Native Americans going to Mexico, to Tijuana. They're there now. They're beating their drums. They're singing their songs. They're fulfilling the prophecy of the eagle and the condor again and again and again.
If you see something, you gotta reach out to Jay. I just saw something. Keep an eye on the news. These people are here. Guarantee you, it's going to happen. It's gonna blow up.
Today,
and I'll let my listeners know.
Today, I saw a bunch of the people that like I said, called Standing Rock phonies, flying to Tijuana. They're going back because the new caravan is about to arrive, and they're the ones that control them. They're the ones that tell them to go and close the border and cost both sides billions of dollars. They're the ones that are telling them that they should hold streets. They're the ones that are causing the clashes that are happening between the police and the federal police and Border Patrol.
Yeah.
Yep. But they've already identified some of these folks. See, I'm bilingual y como puedo hablar en los dos idiomas perfectamente, I wrote these articles. I wrote these articles in Spanish and in English, and I did my shows in Spanish and in English, and I sent them to Border Patrol, and I sent them
to Border Patrol.
I sent them to the federal police.
I cannot believe Cindy is working with Border. What did Border Patrol respond?
Well, all I know is that 4 of them have been detained by Homeland Security and
because of you.
I can only hope. I can only hope. God. But they have been questioned, and they've had their phones confiscated from them. Yep, Myron Dewey, Evan Duke, Lilith Sinclair, Doug McLean, all 4 of them have now posted that they were detained by Homeland Security and questioned.
Because what you sent down.
Well, they did mention my name in one of their videos. They said that they were questioned specifically about the Fargo troll from the radio station.
The Fargo troll?
That's what they call me.
Well, you know what? That means you made it. Hey, some emails here. Wants to know, is Cade Ferris, Scott Garman, and Unity USA involved in this racket? I've known Cade for years. Cade's a straight shooter.
I don't
agree with the Cade on a lot of things, but I think Cade is I think Cade's a straight shooter.
I think a lot of...
I don't know these other...
I think a lot of well-meaning liberal organizations that want to stand up for the rights of Indigenous people and people of color are easily duped by some of these phonies in the leadership of the Standing Rock and A movements.
Let's see, another email. No wonder Hyde Camp was AWOL. I don't know what that one means. I don't get that. Another email says, tell Cindy, welcome to the dark side, mega. Make America great. I asked Cindy if she'd wear a Trump hat. I said no. She ain't going down that road.
I am not.
Another email, Jay. This may be better radio than when you had Greg Gagne on your show. I appreciate that. Thanks. And now another email says, Jay, here's a video of Nathan Phillips and his group that just disrupted a Catholic mass after the most recent Covington incident. This guy is on a roll. Imagine if a Catholic group carried a cross praying loudly through a sweat lodge, powwow, or Native American ceremony in this day and age.
Many of the activists that were supporting Nathan at this march then held a rally and an honoring ceremony for him the next day in which they continued to repeat the lies. They doubled down on the lies that they were chanting, build the wall, build the wall. They want to insert themselves into this conversation about the wall, and listen, you know what my thoughts are on the wall.
Yep.
And I have worked with immigration attorneys and helping people get their residency, their work permits,
Here's
their
where
citizenship.
Cindy and I go off the deep end when it comes to each other.
And you know that I don't like the way that Border Patrol treats people at the border, and I don't like the detention centers in which people are abused. But I will tell you something. I also know what the difference is between reality and fantasy, and there is a wall. And it does have to be maintained because guess what? Walls break down.
That's right.
So Democrats were already in the bag for that. They were already on board to continue the border security that we currently have.
But they don't want that because they hate Trump.
No, this is just a battle for power. I don't understand.
Well, politics is always a battle for power.
Right. But I mean, it's a battle over not giving this president, this wall. I could care less about, the antics and the politics behind this. I think that it sucks that we have to keep people without pay, and it's both sides' faults that this is happening for over a month now for what really is a stupid argument. We're not going to not have immigration enforcement at all.
You need it all done. You need a wall. You need technology. You need drones. You need more border patrol. You need more ports of entry. We don't have enough. That all works together.
One of the main things we need is more judges. One of the other things that we need, if you're going to bring tens of thousands of people into the United States, you're going to have to put more money into the people that do the processing of that paperwork.
But here's the problem: we're not bringing tens of thousands in. They're coming on because they're being told lies down in those Central American countries that because they don't get the news that we get.
Your American compatriots, your American compatriots, most of them in Hollywood, are orchestrating this.
Those are my buddies, man. I'm just, and I don't want to go down because you and I will. This is where we will just start screaming at each other. We start talking about the wall.
Think so.
But I want to go back to. Okay, so what's next for you? Are you going to keep outing Nathan and all these other
there is
actors?
No end in sight to these caravans. There is no end in sight. There's 30,000 people coming. And the saddest part, now the second one, it's almost 20% kids.
Yep.
A lot of them are unaccompanied minors. They keep telling these people in the caravan, if you have kids, you're more likely to be let out of detention.
Exactly. And that's not true.
And it's not true.
But that's what these activists are doing.
It doesn't matter. They just keep lying to these people, giving them false hope, and these folks are coming.
Oh, my God. All right. Now, before we let you rock and roll here, and thanks for about an hour and a half.
Thank you.
And no screaming at all between you and I. I want to go back to something I was going to have you address at the top of the hour. You had something you wanted to say to law enforcement.
Yeah, well, actually, I finished writing the foreword of my book, and one of the things I wanted to make sure to do was to apologize to the law enforcement.
Why?
Specifically to Sheriff Laney, because there was a lot of Fargo law enforcement there, and I feel like they represent my city, they represent where I live, and I was ashamed of what they were doing because I felt like they're law enforcement. They should be professional. They should not be goaded into these confrontations. But after seeing how well orchestrated these people are, how they created the conditions, the environment, and they put the people in the path of the police to violently clash for the cameras, to have these confrontations for their documentary films, for their movies.
Law enforcement did what they had to do.
I realized that they were put into those positions on purpose and that I owed them an apology, and that I also have to recognize that they were doing some thankless work.
Yeah, they were.
Under incredible circumstances.
I was down there with law enforcement, and I couldn't believe what they had to deal with. It was unbelievable.
The way that some of these people, including Wesley Clark, expressed himself specifically about Sheriff Laney and the law enforcement would have turned your stomach.
Yeah.
They played them like a fiddle.
I'm telling you, I was down there. I watched it. You could not believe what law enforcement had to deal with down there. It was absolutely unbelievable.
And now they're doing it to Border Patrol, and now they're doing it to Mexican police, too.
And that's a great point.
They're doing the same thing.
Now the same activists, including Nathan Phillips and all his buddies, now they're doing it. You're right. Now they're down messing with Border Patrol, putting them in the same position.
And Homeland Security.
And I'll
tell you what,
the federal police in Mexico and the caravan.
These folks are not in Kansas anymore, Toto. You do not want to mess with Border Patrol or Homeland Security.
No, you do not. And this group is huge. And they're hooked into politicians. They hooked into Bernie Sanders.
They hooked into Bernie Sanders.
Are they really? You have proof of
yes,
that?
I have proof of it. Yep. Well, just look at who was on his campaign. Tara Houska, one of the people weighing in on the Nathan Phillips things, was working as his Native American liaison, whatever. And it wasn't just that. I mean, they have Shailene Woodley that was working the actress that was at Standing Rock, also was working with Bernie, and they were pushing a lot of these politicians like Ilhan Omar and Ocasio-Cortez, Linda Sarsour. I wouldn't be surprised if the Black Israelites ended up at Standing Rock. Almost every one of these people you can trace back to Standing Rock.
Wow, that's crazy. They were all here. Just trace them all back.
That's why it's so good to research what happened at Standing Rock, and that's why I'm writing the book.
When you see something go down, because I'm not going to get it on the mainstream media, Cindy. If you see something, you go, Jay, you got to keep an eye on this because I saw this person. Trust me,
it's going down.
It's going down. It's not going to be good.
That's right,
Cindy. Thank you so much, man. And thanks for doing. Thanks for being. Hey, look, you know what? after years of going, you people are wrong. You're going, wait a minute. No.
I've learned something. You need to stop without reacting, research first, and then take a step back. Take a step back, because it took me 2 years to get this picture. And you know what? If you make a mistake, have the humility to apologize it. And that's what Nathan Phillips should do. And that's what all of these actors should do right now.
And again, at the end of the day, you don't think these kids did anything wrong.
They didn't.
It was Nathan.
They were ambushed.
They were ambushed by Nathan and the Black, what is that group called?
They had incredible composure for kids.
That group that for some reason the media doesn't want to talk to any of them.
None of the adults have the same excuse. These are at least kids, and they had incredible composure.
Cindy Gomez-Schempp, appreciate it. Where can people find your work?
KPPPFM.com.
And anywhere else?
You can go to 88.1 FM, Fargo Moorhead, and the People's Press Project, and Mexican Online.
All right, say in Spanish, Jay Thomas, I love your show, you rock.
Me encanta tu programa, Jay Thomas. Eres lo máximo.
Make that a promo, Kyle, would you please? Thanks, buddy. Thanks, Cindy.
You're welcome.
And Duke, next time, let us talk a little bit. Don't be jumping in all the time. Appreciate that, buddy. 420.